Welcome back to the walkthrough, where we walk you through every single one of the week's trending topics and we check them off the list so that you are up to date with what you need to know in our industry. I'm Byron Lazine, joined every week by Eric, the broke agent, and we've got two returning guests, Tom Toole, back in the house, feeling good about Joel Embiid's face. Maybe not after last night, but feeling good nonetheless. And Danny Deals, Dan O'Neill, slipping away from an epic party, grand opening fiesta that he is throwing on the other side of the wall. That's how important this content is for you. What's up, boys?
Hello.
Glad to
Eric?
be here and glad my face isn't broken.
That's
Great
right.
intro.
Well, in the comments, let us know whose face is the most broken. All right.
Mine is right now. My crypto portfolio is down about 40% today. So I am not feeling good.
My face is I've had about 40 White Claws today, so I'm not feeling great either.
Everybody's feeling broken. Trillions of dollars have been erased in the last week. So there are some shifts going on, whether it's crypto or stocks. And it is in relation to our first topic, Zillow's dismal outlook. They recently lowered their expectations for this year on house appreciation down from about 16.5% into the 14% range. So it was a slight decrease. So that was only a couple weeks ago. So they feel like home appreciation in terms of the value of houses is going to continue to go up this year. But they just had their earnings report last week. Their earnings report suggested, this is according to Zero Hedge, last week, Zillow's dismal outlook stoked fears that rising mortgage rates would result in the next downturn. Zillow's stock reacted negatively to that. Today, their stock was less than $35 a share. If you've been buying on the way down like me, you've been hitting your chin on every ladder rung all the way down to where we are right now. But you can see the chart that Bobby just put up from Keeping Current Matters. These are the estimated home price performance values for the next 5 years. So along with Zillow's expectations of home values going up, most economists feel like over the next 5 years, we're going to see price appreciation. But Zillow's outlook was that they can't predict the market. There might not be as many sales happening in the future, and it's very uncertain with mortgage interest rates. Now, what even may happen to home price appreciation? So they were not as strong in their earnings report as the last one. Their earnings were pretty good, but they were all over the place in their feel for this market. Tom Toole, what are you feeling? Are you as uncertain as Zillow is on their outlook?
I am more certain than Zillow. And the problem with Zillow's outlook was they predicted 19% at one point this year. It was too high. It was ridiculous. If you look at all the other economists that are out there, Ivy Zellman, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all these people that predict these things, the average is like 6.7 to 7%, somewhere in that range. 17% was just out of control, and now they're having to revise it. So that's why they're uncertain, because they had a poor prediction in the first place.
So you're under 10% for price appreciation for this year, not over 10% like Zillow.
I would, yeah. I mean, just I'm looking at what I'm seeing in the market, and Zillow does have the benefit of dot loop data. They get real time pending sales coming in. We're absolutely seeing, but it's a deceleration. It's not a shift. In that, go ahead.
No, to your point about the shift, we'll put this Zero Hedge article where you guys can find it, whether you're listening or whether you're watching on YouTube. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to hit that subscribe button on the BAM YouTube. Here are the comments from builders. Dallas builder, interest lists are shrinking or buyers are truly pausing. These big markets are an indicator of what's to come in almost every market. Houston builder, many first-time home buyers simply no longer qualify with the increase in interest rates as their debt-to-income ratio gets out of whack. San Antonio builder, traffic has been cut in half since the hike in rates. Raleigh builder, investor activity has slowed dramatically. Washington, D.C. builder, traffic half, which it was in March. Seattle builder paused by large population of buyers, and on and on and on. You get the gist. We'll link that up. Tom, are you still, bullish on the market despite Zillow's muddy waters and these builders saying traffic's not there?
Well, so what I know about our market is that new construction, it's like buying a new car off the lot. It's the most expensive house out there. We don't have a lot of new construction in the greater Philadelphia area. It's the most expensive stuff. So that's kind of the first thing you see that comes down. But what people really want are established neighborhoods, reasonable prices, and 14% is still out of control. I see something in like the 6 to 7, maybe 9% range, best case. And it's a supply and demand issue. I mean, there's just still too much demand and not enough supply. It's the builders are feeling it because it's longer term. People usually have a shorter term housing need. They're getting hit with supply chain issues, and they're always the most expensive homes. So I don't see this correlating to the market slowing down. It's a deceleration, and when you're going 150 down the road and you slow down to 90, it feels a lot slower. It doesn't mean that the market's going the other way.
Dan, is your outlook less than it was a month ago?
No, I wouldn't say so. And I think that Zillow's kind of just retracting their statements and trying to course correct because they grossly predicted what, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, they said 16%. Now they're seeing a slight slowdown and now they're just trying to course correct. So I'm sticking with my number from 2 walkthroughs ago where I said I think it's going to appreciate by 10% this year. And as far as what I'm seeing in my marketplace, yes, you know what? There are a couple of buyers that maybe aren't, putting offers in and maybe the showings are less and we're not seeing the same activity, but the prices aren't going anywhere. We're still seeing these 30, 40, $50,000 above asking sales. And I think it's on us as agents to set the expectations with our buyers or even with our sellers and to price our homes correctly. And I don't really, I love what Tom just said. I mean, yeah, going 150 to 90, it's going to feel a little different, but I don't see it going anywhere, prices going anywhere anytime soon. And I think everyone's just hitting this panic button and people are reading all these articles and going into a frenzy, but we're not seeing anything on our end, at least in Long Island.
In the comments, what are you seeing in your market? Are you feeling what these builders are feeling? Less traffic? Are you like Zillow, where you believe that the outlook in the future is really muddy and you can't figure it out? Or
Why is this
Bobby,
article quoting builders though? They're not in the trenches every day like Tom and myself and you. They're not the ones that are dealing with buyers every day and putting out listings. They're building land that's scarce.
well, some of these large, in these markets, they have these really large communities, and so they're just basing it off of how many people are coming through the show house, right? The model house. But I think that all of this is a shift. Tom did a really great Instagram reel the other day where he's talking about there is a shift happening, whether you talk about the number of agents that are getting out of the market, or you talk about the fact that trillions of dollars have been erased out of thin air from Eric's crypto wallet to your 401k to the higher interest rates. These things will make an impact. And that's, I think, what Zillow's doing is they're adding it all up. But again, in the comments, tell us what you're seeing. Bobby, put the KCM chart back up. I think one thing we got to keep in mind, because Dan, you mentioned home shoppers. What do we tell our buyers and the home shoppers out there? Listen, basically less than 1 to 2% of homes in America are underwater. People are not going to go sell their house at a massive discount, especially if they lost money in their 401k. Sure, why don't I go take a haircut on my house too? Not going to happen. Not highly likely. Not in the scenario that we're in here in 2022. So if you're looking to buy, don't expect a 20% decrease in home values where you're going to net some big win as a home buyer. And this is a great chart to educate home shoppers and home buyers that if you need a house, if you have a need right now, go ahead and make the deal happen, because you're actually going to see more likely than not appreciation over the next 5 years. And the belief is out there that, why would any seller take less money when they have so much equity on their house and they're not underwater? They're not in a position where they have to, like before. If you want charts like this, if you want to try these charts, hit the link below. You can actually try these charts for free. KCM has hooked us up so we can hook all of you up. So click the link below and try the Keeping Current Matters data so you can be the expert as this market does shift. All right, NAR dues, National Association of Realtors, the dues, they went up. They went up $10 a year. And there's a whole bunch of comments. Inman actually did a great piece on this. You know, is this really needed? Is this ridiculous? There's a whole bunch of agent reactions. Let's keep in mind the $10 does not go to these inflated salaries that the NAR CEO and other NAR executives have. The $10 specifically goes, the increase in dues goes towards an ad campaign, which was created in 2019. We are R. This is who we are with the R. You know, the realtor R, Eric, you look
Genius.
confused. The
I am
R,
confused. I mean, you tagged me in for 5 seconds and mentioned my crypto wallet. That's it. You don't want my predictions on the market or anything. I mean, my
no,
God, isn't
we're
this
going to
my
skip over
show?
that. But you're a marketing genius. And,
Correct.
you know, NAR spent millions of dollars tweaking their logo R just slightly. You know all about creating logos because you spent nights, you know, burning the candle on both ends, creating the beautiful BAM logo. And now they're increasing dues $10, and they've approved it for over the next 5 years to run this campaign for what will now be 7 years, a commercial that was produced in 2019. Would you sign off on $60+ million, because that's what the $10 over 5 years increase on our dues amounts to run a 2019 created campaign? Eric, with your marketing chops, would you do that?
No. I mean, that seems psychotic to run a campaign from 2019. So my answer is absolutely no. That's all I
All
got.
right, Tom, why do you think it's important for NAR to have a consumer-facing campaign, or is it not important?
You know, I have an interesting relationship with NAR. When my state got shut down and they did squat to help us, and while every other state could do things, I don't know that the organization adds a lot of value. However, selfishly, for someone like me or you or Dan, I'd like to see them raise dues by thousands of dollars to get these meathead agents that don't know what they're doing out of the business so people can get the right service because the entry barrier is too low. Uh, that's my 2 cents.
That must be a Remax thing. Dennis Murphy quoted in this Inman piece. He's a Remax real estate broker.
He's in
$10.
the market.
He's in your market. $10, he says, should have been raised at least 1,000. Now, to your point, Tom, to raise the bar of professionalism, increase those dues, make the standards a little more stringent, whatever it may be. But if you're going to push that $1,000 towards a 2019 commercial, would you be for it? Or if you're going to push that money towards the CEO, Bob Goldberg, who netted $2.239 million in 2019. Of course, NAR is a nonprofit 501c, and the CEO, the retired CEO in 2018, netted over $4 million. Bob Goldberg has been making over $700,000 for the last 15 years straight as a member, as an executive at NAR. So would you want to increase it by $1,000 and have Bob Goldberg making Danny Deal's kind of money, 10 million a year, let's call it? I mean, what do you think? What do you think about these salaries, Dan?
I mean, I think it's insane. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, the $10 extra it's a cup of coffee for all of us, right? We could all spare that money, but I don't really see a 2009 or 2019 ad campaign being pushed for all this money as a benefit for any of us, right? What are they doing right now to benefit the agents that are doing the business? I mean, like Dennis Murphy said, shout out to him, in my market, $1,000. All right, maybe that's going to wean out some of these meatheads, and I think that's really what we need. But I don't see the $10 extra really doing anything.
You know what else is weaning out these meatheads? The 45-hour continuing ed that I have to do before June 30th. I know I'm a content creator now, but this is basically pushing me to the edge of, do I actually want to do this? And the answer is yes.
You should create some.
License.
You should create some content around that. Why do you have to keep your license, Eric?
Because my dad told me to.
Okay, there you go.
Just in case, it's a backup plan, you know.
You know, my dad told me to too, but he's
Burn
also
the boat.
broker owner, so it's
yeah. Well, once Eric hangs his license with Real Brokerage, according to Tim Macy, then it'll all be worth it.
Come into my downline, everyone, please.
To be clear, BAM is never creating A downline.
No.
Nonprofit 501c. I'm never against somebody. Somebody made a comment on my Instagram about it. He's like, I think it was actually Massive Agent.
Massive
Dustin.
asshole. Right.
I knew Eric was jumping in on that. Dustin said, I'm never against somebody making their money, but Tom, are you? Does it feel a little weird that a nonprofit, a 501c, you have the current CEO in 2019 making $2.2+ million, and then a former CEO still on the payroll at about again $4 million plus dollars, so $6 million going into two CEOs, past and present, for a nonprofit 501c. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's for profit for them. I mean, I don't know where they're getting this nonprofit stuff from. It's NAR. They had a bad week last week, right? They had the DOJ case come out. It's going class action. They have their the pocket listing policy, the cooperation policy. That's under attack by people like Mauricio from the agency, big hitters in the industry, and like there's a common sense problem with NAR where they think they're coming out with a good policy, and then a lot of the agents are against it. So it feels like there's people in a room making decisions with what's best for the industry, but they're not actually selling real estate. So there's some challenges here, and I think that there's going to be some backlash from it. You see all these startups come up all the time. That's a lot of money to be paying the CEOs of a nonprofit. I mean, maybe these guys should work nonprofit.
Quickly, before we go over to the next trending topic, would you want NAR to, if it comes down to three things, this marketing to the consumer that they're doing, building software and technology, and then lobbying in DC, if you were to rank those 1 through 3, how would you rank them? Dan, then Tom.
Go Tom first. Tom first.
Go ahead, Tom.
Lobbying in DC, number one. Lobbying
Agree.
in DC, lobbying in DC, number 3. Because my tech's probably better than theirs, and I guarantee you my marketing's better than theirs.
Yeah.
So I think you're in alignment with me, Tom. You'd cut out 2/3 of the expenses or the dues that are flowing into, because clearly, they're spending all this money on software. They're spending all this money on ad campaigns. Well, let's just spend what we got to do to lobby, protect agents, protect consumers' rights, and move on with your day. All right, next topic. We're just skipping over Dan. He's all clawed up.
It looks like a watermelon claw. I spy a watermelon claw there by the green top.
That's right.
I agree with what you guys are saying.
So last year, Oregon became the first state to pass a law banning real estate brokers from transmitting non-customary communications, buyer love letters, between home buyers and sellers, feeling that the so-called love letters might be used to discriminate in housing transactions, but there was no evidence of such discrimination happening in the past. So this ban was put forth without citing specific instances where discrimination took place. This has been a battle in the course. I've covered it on the Real Word multiple times. And just like hours ago, Oregon's ban on love letters between prospective home buyers and sellers is over for good. Over for good. A federal judge signed a consent decree in which the state admits that the ban violates freedom of speech for real estate brokers and prospective buyers. Tom, should love letters exist?
Look, you can present whatever you want. I mean, I understand the right of someone to present it. That's free speech. Like I love America as much as the next guy. What I also know is that there will be a lawsuit here. I should have, I wear my USA tank top that I wear on 4th of July.
Century 21 tie right there.
I got a gold jacket for Wikers also. So there's going to be a lawsuit here. Imagine the buyer that lost out on like 10 homes, and they find out one of them they lost out because someone wrote a love letter. I mean, people are not happy with this market, and it's still a dangerous place for realtors. Just because it's not illegal in the constitutional sense, realtors are held to a higher standard. We've got a code of ethics we have to follow. So it's still very dangerous to present those. I think it's a bad idea. And my job is to get the best business deal for my clients, not the buyer we feel the warm and fuzzies about. So I don't think realtors should use them. And maybe it should be an NAR policy if they're actually going to do something, instead of pay Bob Goldberg all that money. that would be an effective policy instead of what they're doing.
Do you have your buyers write them, Tom?
We have a policy not to do any of that because,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you get a letter, right? There's a picture of the family in there, and it says, "Hey, we go to church up the street," or "Here's all my kids." Look, I mean, and look, some people will let that factor into be a decision, whether we like it or not. That it's human nature, and we don't know these clients that well in terms of their personal beliefs. So it is our policy not to present them. We tell the sellers that up front. We have it in our offer instructions. And if I get one, I literally just throw it out because I don't care. I want to get the best price and the best terms for my client.
So you won't
Dan-
even let your seller see the letter?
No,
Dan,
the
are
sellers
you
are okay with it.
are you throwing away your seller's mail? Are you for or against buyer love letters? Where are you at on this, Dan?
No, I mean, like Tom said, I'm all for free speech and USA, but I'm also throwing away every letter that I get. And I mean, I just sold my house 2 months ago, and I got probably 10 of them myself, and every single one of them I threw out as well because if I'm gonna be, jaded,
Those were real love letters, though, Dan. Those weren't buyer love letters.
yeah, but no, those were buyer love letters, and there's pictures of their family and what they're doing and where they're from and their hardships. And yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, that can kind of pull on your seller's heartstrings. I mean, I read maybe one or two of them, and I'm like, I can't read any more of these. And it's kind of a direct violation of fair housing. So I'm throwing them out myself too. So I think it should be banned everywhere, and Oregon included.
Listen, I'm with you
Oregon.
guys. Yeah, Oregon. I'm with you guys
I hate
from
people to say Oregon. It's infuriating.
Oregon,
He probably
Yeah.
played the
Byron-
Oregon Trail
Byron
as a
says
kid.
it. Yeah, the Oregon Ducks. That always pissed me off. Sorry, Byron, go
sometimes
ahead.
I say Oregon, sometimes I say Oregon.
Yeah,
Really,
assholes say Oregon.
really,
Pretentious.
I never stepped foot there, so it is what it is. I apologize to all the Oregonians.
Correct.
All right.
It's Oregonians.
Anyway, our Oregonians. So I'm with you guys from a perspective of protecting my seller. Hey, I got this letter. I don't think you should read it. Here's why. Make a great business decision for you and your family, right? That's where I'm at on that side. When I'm on the side of wearing the hat of like what's right for the buyer, whatever it freaking takes, I want the buyer to win the deal. So if I can help them, put them in position to do that, I think crafting a better offer majority of the time wins out as opposed to the 15% that are going to play off of this emotional heartstring thing. Do I think it should, like, I don't think you're ever going to be able to stop a consumer, a home shopper, that potential buyer for making a letter and getting it over to the seller, right? So, if they really are passionate about that approach, they're going to find a way. And there's really nothing illegal about that in terms of them doing it themselves. Should NAR, I'll comment on, should NAR make a policy on it? I mean, I think we have a lot of made up realtor rules that were made up out of thin air. This one might bring clarity. It's a hot debate with agents. So in the comments, which side are you on? I know every time I talk about this, lots of agents think it's ridiculous that they're even talking about doing away with it. They've won multiple deals. It's part of their value prop when working with a buyer. And then there's a lot on the other side where should do away with it. I always lean away from NAR making up realtor rules that the consumers don't understand, because we as realtors make up rules. NAR does, the local boards, that consumers have no idea what they are. So they don't understand when you say we can't present that letter because we have a pin and a rule book that doesn't exist in the real world. So I don't like a lot of realtor rules is where I'm at on that. Any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I feel like agents shouldn't be encouraging it, but if your buyer takes it upon themselves to go stuff a letter in somebody's mailbox, that's a different story. But we shouldn't be encouraging it. That shouldn't be a part of our value prop. Your terms and your offer should be the reason why you get the house, not because you sent a picture of you and your 3 kids and your golden doodle like Eric.
So
Eric's a buyer right now. He probably is sending photos of his golden doodle.
He can't read it right, so he doesn't worry about that.
So
I went to a top 2 university, Dan.
Yeah.
USA, 1 year at Coastal.
Yes.
You need a pulse to get in there.
I agree with Dan, but what I will say, Byron, fair housing is not a made up rule, and somebody is going to get sued. And I'm looking at not only my sellers, but also my team, right? The team we work on, the company. That stuff is important, and it's fair housing is not a made up rule. Like that. That's where
You're
I
right
would
about that.
disagree with you a little bit. But at to the same time, I've had buyers where the seller declines their offer and they go over to the house and they say your agent screwed it all up and they laughed in their face. So these people can always get to the house. They know where they live, right? I mean, so you can't stop them. I'm thinking more of my license, my livelihood, our organization, and our sellers, which we have a responsibility to represent. Fair housing's not made up. That's my point. But I don't disagree with what you're saying either.
And I'm with you on that. I don't want to deal with them from an agent perspective. It's a complex issue. Fair housing, freedom of speech, buyers not understanding realtor rules. There are a lot to this one, which I think, despite what happened in, the Northwest, Oregon, I feel like there could be some more things in the future with this issue. Eric, you have a video you'd like to share with
few videos. You
the
know what I'm
class.
like, Byron, Dan, Tom? I'm like the Dr. Dre of real estate. I'm like the Jimmy Iovine, Interscope Records. I see talent, I recruit talent. Think about Dan, think about Tom. You guys were, minuscule. You guys were nothing until I discovered both of you. Now you guys are on the biggest real estate show. So there is a guy named
You're the
Brooks.
Jamie Kennedy of real estate. That's what you are.
Who the hell is that? No one knows who that is.
Simon Rex. Simon Rex.
Okay,
VJ.
I like Simon Rex, actually.
Okay.
My last name is Simon, too. Anyway, Brooks Landry is posting these Instagram reels and TikToks that are laugh out loud funny. They're 10 to 15 seconds long, and they are making fun of or emulating the Be a Man series, which is very popular on TikTok, where some guy will say something like, I'm going out to get a pack of cigarettes, be a man, never come back, stuff like that. It's kind of funny. So this guy, Brooks Landry, is doing it, but it's called Be a Realtor series. Let's watch some of them right now.
Hire a videographer to follow you around as if you're on $1 Million Listing. Be a realtor.
Well, we didn't hear the beginning of that, but that was based off of Byron.
Videographer to follow you around as if you're on.
That wasn't Danny Deals.
Be a realtor.
I like how he has his cronies in the background.
Yeah, Bobby, let's play another one of those. That was that was not a good one. Come on, here we go. Maybe let's get the volume going at the beginning of the video.
Have your videographer screw up your TV show. Be a realtor.
All right. Anyway, this guy says something. Basically, he'll look at the broke agent page, actually agents, and see something funny, and then basically say, "Be a realtor." Afterward. Here we go.
Preview the property. Don't tell him it's pending. Just let him go see it. Be a realtor. When you have your listing pending and under contract, and another realtor calls you to preview the property, don't tell him it's pending. Just let him go see it. Be a realtor. When you have your listing pending,
we're not going to.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. This guy's going to
review the property.
Let's see it 15 times.
I would be livid if somebody did that to me, by the way. Like, you called it. Well, first of all, I wouldn't preview the property, but like, come anyway. I'm not going to tell you. They should be stabbed right on the spot.
He's taken the circumstances that happen to realtors, or he's taking like the cliche realtor and making it into a funny TikTok or reel. And I don't know. I think it's good content. He's blowing up. He's getting hundreds of thousands of views on TikTok. And his reels are crushing. So do you guys have any thoughts?
I like that he's put together a series, and so it's repeatable, and you know what to expect on the next one, which angles he going to take, but he can bang a lot of those out.
Correct. He could bulk shoot those.
Yeah. All right, Dan. We'll get Dan back to bulk funneling those White Claws, or bulk shotgunning White Claws. And Tom, any final thoughts from you?
Don't write love letters.
Don't write love letters. Write all your love DMs to Dan O'Neill, just the blue check, not the fake profiles. We're out. We'll see you guys next week on the walkthrough. Check out the KCM link below. Try that content for free. This market is shifting. You need the data to back up your information.